back to Troyer's Travels, and today is one of my favorite topics ever. It's the topic of pin trading at Disney. If you have ever gone to Disney World and you've pin traded, then you know what I'm talking about. You probably have enjoyed it. Today we're going to talk about some of the things to do, not to do, and some of the pins themselves. So of course, number one, before you go to Disney and pin trade, no matter what park you're going to, make sure that you check out online. They have rules on the Disney websites as far as pin trading. They're very simple rules. Most of them are just matters of etiquette versus actually having hard and fast rules. But of course, one of them is the fact that since Disney's mostly geared towards children, they have different lanyards. Whenever you go there, the cast members are going to have their lanyards, and some of them are going to have green lanyards, and whenever they have those are for the kids. If you have kids along, let them check that out, let them enjoy time trading pins. As far as us adults, later on we'll get to trade with all the other cast members that are around Walt Disney World. One of the rules they have is that you should trade a total of 2 pins with per cast member, and whenever you trade these pins with a cast member, you want to do things safely. So you want to make sure that the back is on the pin, and you present that to the cast member and let them know which pin on their lanyard you would like to trade for. When you trade pins with the cast members, make sure that you don't touch their lanyard. They don't like that. I did not find that out from personal experience, thankfully, but I've heard stories and seen stuff online. Don't touch the pins, just point to the one that you want and let them bring it close to you so that you can get a better look if you need to. They sometimes have really great pins, sometimes they have a bunch of starter pins. It just depends on what time of day, where the cast member is located, what they happen to grab that morning. As you go throughout the day, remember the cast members with pins are all over the parks. You'll find them not just in the Disney park, you'll also find them at Disney Springs. Disney Springs employees have lanyards as well, and from the moment you get in the gate until you leave at night, because sometimes people just trade, will trade some off, and then you'll get new employees come in and they'll have brand new pins midway through the day or something, so don't forget about that. When you're trading pins and you're looking at the different ones that you could possibly get, keep in mind that sometimes you'll come across ones that only cast members are able to get. They have a little hidden Mickey on them. You're looking at the cast member lanyards, check for hidden Mickeys. You're going to have a tiny little Mickey Mouse symbol somewhere on that pin, and that particular mark means that it's a cast member exclusive. What is a starter pin? A starter pin is something that you get generally on a lanyard. Whenever you're at Walt Disney World, you can see them all over the place in the gift shops. They usually have between 4 and 8 pins on them, and they're usually smaller in nature. They have characters or whatever, and they generally have one certain theme. That way it kind of gets you started with maybe a Mickey Mouse lanyard, and then Mickey, Goofy, Pluto, Minnie, Daisy, Donald, and all the friends on the lanyard. So you've got something to walk around with, something that's fun. Maybe you just like those characters and you just want to keep that lanyard. Hey, that works. Some people take and they'll buy the starter pin lanyard, and then they'll go and they'll trade pins all day and they'll try to get some better ones. Whenever I first started trading pins at Walt Disney World, it was kind of an interesting experience. I didn't quite know what to do whenever I was going into it, and I just thought every single person in the park wearing a lanyard must be there to trade pins. Yeah, silly. I was young. I was naive. But anyway, whenever we got there, we were about to hop on the monorail. We saw somebody with a lanyard full of pins, and so sure enough, talking to the person, and I'm like, "Hey, you want to trade a pin?" They're like, "Well, maybe." And so here we go. That's the pin right there. Most awkward trade I've ever had in my entire life, and I learned right at that moment, trade with the cast members. That's what they're there for. They got the lanyard, they're ready to trade pins with you. Other guests in the park? Probably not. Sometimes cast members are going to have a mystery pin. Whenever they've got their lanyard on, they take and they turn one around backwards, and you have to decide. Sometimes if it's a big one, it might be worth your while, if you can kind of tell what it is, but it's up to you whether you want to take that or not. Whenever you start pin trading, or whenever you go and pin trade, make sure you bring some that you can just trade off right away that you don't really care about, and I usually trade those for the mystery pins. When you go, keep in mind your theme ahead of time. I like to get the attraction pins, and I like to get the character pins. Those are my 2 major ones. Sometimes I pick up some like Euro Disney or something else. Once you get those Disney pins, you'll want a place to display them in your house, and obviously this is only a portion of my Disney pin collection, but I've got it up here in the studio. So you'll want to find a spot. Whenever I first started pin collecting, I started off with a couple little shadow boxes. I'd stick them in there, and then whenever I when I went to the park, got some new pins, I'd trade them out. Whenever I outgrew those shadow boxes, I took and got a bulletin board. It was about 3 feet long and 2 feet high, and that thing was kind of a fun place to display them. I took all my attractions. I hand drew a map of Disney on there based on the maps that you pick up when you enter the park, and it was not a pretty sight, but you know what? It was a place for me to display my Disney pins, and I put all the attractions on there, roughly where they were located in the Disney parks, and it was just something fun for me to do. So whatever it is that you want to do with your Disney pins, sometimes some people hang up their lanyards on the wall, stuff like that, and I may do that sometime, but for now, like I said, I love my pins right here on display at the studio, so find a place where you can put them up and you won't forget them until the next time you go to Disney. Thanks again for joining us. Please click on the link down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon so you can be notified anytime we have new videos. Please subscribe to this channel, help it to grow, share with your friends. Please visit us online at all of our social media outlets, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Patreon, and I hope to see you in our travels.